welcome to the ARC Automation Studio. I'm Alan Avery, a senior analyst here at ARC Advisory Group, and I invite you to join us as we discuss the field service management market. Joining me today is Ralph Rio, Vice President here at ARC, and he's just completed a study on this topic. Welcome, Ralph. First off, I'd like to ask you how customers are changing their buying criteria for field service management software in today's dynamic environment.
The field service management space is at the beginning of a fundamental business change, and that's going from reactive field service to more proactive field service. And let me just describe what I mean by reactive. So currently, for the most part, field service occurs when a piece of equipment fails at a customer site. You know, think of your home furnace in the middle of winter when it's cold outside, snowstorm, cold night, your furnace fails, and you're in a bit of a panic to get that repaired before your pipes freeze. So in the manufacturing environment, this unplanned downtime is very problematic. It impacts revenue typically because the equipment can't make product, and lots of times it also is at the start of a safety or environmental issue. So with IoT, the condition of the equipment can be monitored remotely. And when things start to deteriorate, analytics, predictive maintenance will generate an alert or a flag. And that flag will provide some warning that the equipment is about to fail. So a service order can be created. The equipment can be serviced proactively and often during times when it's not needed, so there's no impact on production. And the equipment can then run without any unplanned downtime. So this change from reactive, ugly, unplanned downtime to proactive, preventing unplanned downtime is a fundamental business transformation that's occurring in field service right now. This change, this getting IoT data is often done by the OEM, and they sell a service to the end user for condition monitoring. Now that can just be sending an alert to the user, and the alert and the user's own service technicians make the change, or it can be more comprehensive, and the alert goes to a dealer or a local service provider who then performs the work to prevent the equipment from failing. That is a fairly complex business process because it passes through multiple entities, from owner to OEM to that OEM's dealer or service provider. And to monitor and manage that business process, a modern field service management application is fundamentally required, which is driving, by the way, huge growth in the field service management market.
Thanks, Ralph. Next, I'd like to ask what the drivers are for market growth in field service management.
The fundamental business process change in field service that I mentioned earlier affects OEMs in another way. Previously, a lot of them had considered field service and managed field service as though it was a cost center. That means costs that were meant to be reduced or optimized. And it devolved mainly into spare parts and maybe a few service calls when the client really needed some help. This changes to a P&L center when they start selling service contracts and renew those service contracts, and then have costs that are applied to that revenue associated with field service technicians, managing those technicians, inventory management that goes with it, and parts replacement. So this change to a profit center obviously gets CEO, C-suite attention because it affects their major metrics. And those are the metrics that appear in the financial reports, the P&L report, and the balance sheet. All right. So this shift is occurring, and again, to turn field service into a profit center, P&L center, requires a modern field service management system. Another aspect of it is just generally improving the core metrics of field service management, and that is the first time fix rate and the mean time to repair. So with field service management, you're capable of providing in the field with a mobile device the documents needed, maybe the history about what was repaired on it, whether or not inventory is available, so they know whether or not they should close up the piece of equipment or have the part delivered to them if it is not in their truck. All right. We also see adoption of new technologies. One of them is machine learning or artificial intelligence, and that's mostly being used for schedule optimization, and that involves choosing the right technician and optimizing their route for greatest productivity. We're also starting to see this being applied to the equipment diagnosis and giving guidance to the technician. Now, if we shift now to just service providers, they are improving their overall performance and their competitive advantage. They can schedule their technicians and give the end client customer a much tighter window for servicing the equipment, so that particularly this applies to residential service, so the end customer knows when they need to be home and receive the technician. So we see these service windows going from all day and maybe not showing up to maybe a half day, and in some cases a 2-hour window is given to the client, and that greatly improves customer satisfaction and the net promoter score. SaaS is also having an effect. A lot of the field service managed solutions have already converted to SaaS, and for the most part the market has moved strongly in that direction. That's continuing because it lowers the initial cost significantly. Instead of buying an upfront license, you maybe have some implementation services that occur, and it also greatly reduces the technical risk. With the SaaS contract, the software provider has a very strong incentive to improve the quality of the software so that the service contract is not canceled or it's renewed in the future. So these are the areas where a modern field service management solution is required, and that is driving very significant high growth in this market space.
Thanks, Ralph, for all your insights on the field service management market. This concludes our discussion of field service management and the study that we've recently produced on the topic. If you have any questions or need additional information about the study or ARC, we invite you to reach out to the author or a client manager at ARC. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.